Hi, everyone, and welcome again to Mothers of Multifamily. I am so excited. I have the amazing Ashley Wilson joining us today. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be on.
I am super excited to have you on. Listeners, she is amazing. She is the co-founder of Bar Down Investments LLC, HouseItLook LLC. She has over 10 years of real estate experience and has been involved in over, get this, 40 million in transactions within both single and multifamily real estate. Ashley co-founded Bar Down Investments LLC with her husband, Kyle. Ashley leads asset and construction management on all of her multifamily investments and has provided operational counseling for several other large multifamily owners throughout the country. Additionally, Ashley and her father, Tom, also have a very successful high-end flipping business in Pennsylvania, House, House, ItLook LLC, which handles several millions in transactions annually. When Ashley is not working on her business, she enjoys spending time with her family, including her husband and their 2 daughters. Additionally, Ashley enjoys competing with her horse. Oh my goodness. My mind exploded just reading all of that. You have consecutive businesses, you have your family, you work with your father. You not only flip, you have large multifamily investments, and it sounds like you coach people on how to really get and down deep into the operations of that. Ashley, how do you do it all?
The way that I've been able to achieve what I've achieved today, and the way that I believe I'll continue achieving success, is through my network. I strongly believe that the reason that I've been able to achieve success is not only my inner circle, my family and friends, but colleagues and other people that I look up to and people who are doubters. Really, every single person has an influence on me. I try to look to see how I can provide value. And also, I really try to figure out what lessons they're learning and use them in my day-to-day life and implement them within my business. So I think without really being in tune to all the people around me, I would not be where I am today. I also thrive off of my colleagues' successes, and it's not in a competitive way, it's more in a camaraderie way. So I really enjoy seeing my friends, colleagues, business associates have success, and that really inspires me, and it tells me things are possible. It reminds me that, if you're having a bad day, that you can have a good day, immediately following that horrible day. So I just continue to stay positive, surround myself with incredible, brilliant people, and I just work my butt off so I can keep up with them.
I love everything you've just said. You are my new best friend, Ashley, because your mindset is everything. I mean, I'm going to go back to everything that you just said in like just the last minute, just thriving on other people's success and not doing it in a competitive way. One of the tenets that I live off of in my head is there's no competition, only collaboration and domination. Together, we can dominate. If we
Absolutely.
compete, then nobody wins. I mean, there might be a winner, but in the end, that winner loses, because if they're competing in a nasty way, it doesn't raise all the ships. So I love the fact that you thrive off of success. But I really want to dig deep in what you said about thriving off the energy in your network and some of the lessons that you've learned. What are some of like the deep down lessons that have allowed you to you have this amazing businesses going down, and you have your family. So what is one large lesson that you can share with my listeners?
I think not being afraid, whether it's a question that you want to ask someone or taking a risk on something, I think that is really put me in a position to take chances and invest in myself, believe in my capacity, believe in my capability, and believe in my character. Those are 3 things that I look for in a partner, but I should also be confident that I possess those things as well. And in terms of doing that across both my business and personal life, prior to getting into real estate, I felt like I had two personas. I felt like I had a work persona, and then I felt like I had a personal persona. And I really didn't like when those two personas crossed over. So I wouldn't friend my work colleagues, because I worked in corporate, big pharma to be specific. I worked in corporate, and I wouldn't allow my corporate friends to be my friends on Facebook. I just didn't want the overlap. I wanted a divide between the two. And I really think that structured me in the sense that I only thought of business and working hard during 9 to 5, let's say, right? But now in real estate, working within real estate and the life that I live now, I feel like I can be my authentic self. And to me, that allows me to grow 24 hours a day, as opposed to previously, I was only growing from a business side between 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and on a personal side, whether it be as a wife or as a mother, outside of those hours. And I don't think, now that I've totally changed my mindset and I act differently now, I feel like I'm constantly growing, and I don't stop my business growth or my personal growth or my growth as a mother or as a wife just because it's between the certain hours of a day. I mean, I know that sounds really silly, and I don't know if other people can relate to this, but for me, that is something that was really eye-opening and really changed my whole life on so many levels.
That's not silly at all. I've dealt with the same thing I've dealt with, and I still deal with it to today. Like sometimes I feel like my mom brain can't, if it's taken over, I can't think real estate and I can't think business. But again, I think that's all mindset. That's because somehow in my brain, I've told myself, okay, if I'm thinking about my children, I can't think about business. And if I'm thinking about business, I can't think of my children. So how do you transcend that bridge? Like you said, you can do it and you can grow on a 24-hour basis, but can you give me and my listeners the how?
Having the wherewithal on who you are, knowing who you are, having patience. I have been really focusing over the past few months on my patience. And when I say patience, I don't mean my ability to wait in, now it's like 100-foot line at 6 feet increments to get something. I don't mean something like that. What I mean is, if my children, because obviously we're all in a situation where we're working from home and our kids are running around, having fun at home as well, and you're trying to balance all of that. What I mean is that when my kids come in and I am doing something that might cause a little bit of stress or anxiety for work, that when my kids come in and they're like, oh, can I type on the computer? Can I color on this notebook that you need and you won't be able to read a single note after I'm done with it? Instead of just like expressing frustration or anger or anything like that, I take a deep breath. I do what I want them to do. I try to be a role model for them, because at the end of the day, like, I'm telling them to have patience and understanding and, treat your sister with respect and stay calm. But if I'm not showing that to them, then I'm not being a good role model for them. So I want to be a good role model in the sense of, yeah, mommy is a badass. She works and she's doing all these things, and you can do it too. And you're not limited by gender. You're not limited by race. You're not limited by all these things that, when I grew up, those were real things. But at the same rate, I want to explain to them, hey, like, this is what mommy's doing right now. So mommy needs these notes because mommy's sending an email, and an email is like a letter that goes through the mail, but instead it goes through your computer. And using moments as learning moments, as opposed to seeing it as, it's taking you away from something. It doesn't have to be a negative. I think when you express negativity, when you express frustration, you're expressing that they are bothering you and that's a negative. What you want to do is turn that into a positive, turn that into, okay, what is mommy doing right now? Mommy's writing a check. You guys can't write on checks, but I'll teach you, this is how we pay people. And, just using those moments to really be patient. And it takes a lot of discipline, and I don't get it right all the time. And I don't even want to know statistically how often I get it right, but the point is that I'm trying to be cognizant of it. I'm trying to be an example. And when I get it wrong, saying I'm sorry right away and showing an example on the other side of showing when you're wrong to your children too. So I just really think that we all are very stressed out right now. We're probably stressed out for a lot of different reasons, whether it's financially, whether it's health related, family related, or it's just because you're out of your norm. It's human nature that we go in these routines, and human nature likes routines. Even people who say they don't have a routine, they have a routine of not being in routine. So when you change your routine, there is natural resentment of change. People don't like change. That's why people don't like when Facebook updates their platform, or iPhone updates their operating system, or Zoom. Zoom just recently updated how to use the system, and everyone's going crazy. So like, these are just all little tiny examples, and that frustrates you. So magnify that across your entire day, and it's understandable. It's human nature. It's understandable. It's not excusable. So it's something that we just need to work together and take a moment to breathe and realize truly how lucky we are. There's something in everyone's life right now that is absolutely incredible. And if you shift your mind to focusing on all the incredible things that are going on in your life, and not let something that is going to poison those thoughts overtake your positivity, that's when you can achieve so much more in life.
I don't even know where to start with everything that you just said, Ashley. You just spoke into my heart, because I mean, just what you just said, poison. I had like my question all ready to go, but poison over positivity, or like when you let that poison take over, it takes over the positivity. And I'm sure you see it blatant all over social media, all over just your daily basis. And if you focus in on that, you become part of the problem, not part of the solution. And but it sounds like you are the type of person that tries her best to approach everything with a positivity and kindness. I mean, what you said about there's something in all of our lives that we can just grab onto and know that we're lucky. We are lucky to live this life. We are lucky for that one thing, no matter what it is. And for the listeners out there, I know we're all going through different things right now. We're in different states, different levels of being open, different everything. And if we are all cognizant about that and knowing that there's something in your life that you can grab onto, like Ashley said, there's something that we can grab onto and just be thankful for and lucky. I'm looking at all my notes. I'm like, what do I want Ashley to delve into? Let's talk a little bit more about your routine and how you're on a day-to-day basis. And I know you talked a little bit about this, but because this is moms of multifamily, I want to know how you're teaching your daughters about what you do and why mommy is such a badass, like you said.
So my daughters are 5 and 3. So they're just at the perfect age to introduce them into what I'm doing. And it's all different levels. So some people would say, oh, they're too young to understand multifamily. And yes, they are probably too young to understand multifamily. But when we're playing and we're doing imagination and, for example, at Easter, I said to my older daughter, her name's Dylan, I said, Dylan, I can either do one of two things. You can either have one chocolate kiss now for dessert for lunch, or if you invest it with mommy, which means that you let mommy keep it, so you can't have one right now, at snack time, I can give you a half a chocolate at dinner, I can give you a half a chocolate, and tomorrow at lunch, I can give you a half a chocolate, and tomorrow at dinner, I can give you a half a chocolate. So this one chocolate becomes 2 chocolates over 2 days. If you don't have the chocolate right now, what do you want to do? Do you want 1 chocolate now, or do you want 2 chocolates over the next 2 days? And really sell this idea of wanting 2 chocolates over the next 2 days. And her response was, I want 2 chocolates, because 2 chocolates is more than 1 chocolate. And, it's kind of like, okay, that's not exactly how multifamily works. And I understand that. But what I'm trying to instill in my daughter is the principle of investing, and the principle of not needing, immediate gratification. I think we live in a society, where we have Twitter word counts, Instagram only allows a minute post, TikTok, it's like whatever. I can't keep up with all this stuff. Once again, change, right? But so I think the thing is because we live in this society of instant gratification, I think it's more important than ever that I instill in my children the idea of investing, and putting away a little bit today grows exponentially long term. And that's what I'm trying to instill in them. So it might not be, okay, we're going to take Barbie and we're going to put her in this little condo, except I say that, and yet one of our shipping boxes that came in on something we ordered, we built an apartment building together. So out of a shipping box. So, there are a lot of things that you can do to be creative. You don't have to, go to Pinterest, just use your mind, become a kid again, do exactly what your kids want you to do, which is use your imagination and play with them. That's all that matters to them. It's most important. We're going to look back on this time and we're going to be like, wow, this was really stressful, but we got through it. Our kids are going to look back on this time and say, this was the best time of my life because I got to be with you every single day, mommy and daddy, or mommy and mommy, or daddy and daddy, whatever your parental situation is. So I think it's so important now more than ever to embrace the opportunity we have to educate our children more, to be more involved with our children. And on the multifamily side of things, there are times where I just really need to get work done. And my husband and I are partners in the multifamily business. And without him, oh my gosh, he is just everything to me. I mean, he literally is my number one cheerleader. He always is backing me. He's always supporting me. And it's not even to me, it's to our daughters, which is more important. I'm going to tear up now. But it's more important to me that he is that role model to my daughters, because eventually, they'll end up with someone as supportive as he is. So thanks. You didn't even prompt this. I just went on it on my own. So I'm probably going to regret crying on first time meeting and everything. But anyway.
See, that's real though. I mean, our husbands are cut from the same cloth, because I have the same thought. The way my husband presents himself to me is the way my daughter and my sons will grow up and be like their daddy. And my husband is such a supportive factor in my life. And my daughter is going to marry someone like her daddy. And that is a supportive factor in my life. And it's okay if we cry all over this podcast. I'm cool with that. So let's take a moment to review, because so much of what you said, everything you said about the partnership between you and your husband, my husband's watching the kids right now, and that we're in this
same.
You said it's an extremely stressful time, and you need to have, whether or not you're a single mother, whether or not you are 2 mothers raising, 2 fathers raising, it doesn't matter who the mother is, as long as you have that support system. And if you don't have a support system, I implore you, find one, because you shouldn't have to do this alone. Children should be raised by, not even should, if you are alone and you're doing it, and I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. You find your support where you can. And for me and Ashley, it's our husbands. Whoever your support system is, just thrive in that, celebrate it, especially right now in this time. So I'm going to wipe my eyes a little bit. Hopefully my mascara is not all over my glasses. Okay. Take a deep breath. Let's dive into the future. I met you through the amazing Invest Her Nation, and I love calling it Nation. I know Liz and Andressa don't call it that, but that's what I call it. The Invest Her Nation. And Liz was like, you have to interview this amazing woman. And you are amazing, Ashley. You have to interview this amazing woman, Ashley Wilson. She has this amazing background. So what is next for you, Ashley? I know Liz and Andressa have this amazing summit coming up. Are you part of that?
Yes, I am part of that. I'm working with, and as you mentioned, they are both incredible on their own right, and collectively, this is a perfect example of when you work together and have synergies with someone, literally the world is limitless for you. And Liz and Andressa have that X factor when they get together. They're both incredible women. They come together and just magic happens. So I am blessed enough that I can be a part of this and can support them in any way, shape, or form that they need. If you are interested in coming to our summit, it's on June 12th. I hope that's okay if I mention for anyone.
That's why I mentioned it. I already mentioned it.
Yes. Awesome. So it's on June 12th. We're really excited about it. We have such an incredible lineup of speakers. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, the speakers are just so impressive, and all of them were just like, yes, of course I want to do this. And you have such an incredible community. I don't even think people realize who are in this community how well respected this community has become. I mean, from day one, it has been that way, but I mean, in terms of like, it's grown like wildfire. And I'm a huge believer that it will continue to grow at the rate that it's growing, just because it leads by example. It is not out to upsell you on things, and it really gives more than, I mean, everything right now is free except for this summit. This is the first paid thing that they were doing in 2 years. So to be honest with you, it's long overdue that we give back to them everything that they've provided for us. I mean, the people that I've met in this organization have just been amazing. So that's one of the things in terms of on the horizon that I'm working with them, not only in this, but on some other things that I'm really excited for them to announce once everything's squared away. And then in addition to that, we're continuing to build our multifamily business. We actually just got another property under LOI that we're moving forward with in Houston, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, so we have, that's 150 units down in Houston. I love Houston. I already have a property down there. I love that market. So really excited about that. And then we're going to continue the flipping business with my dad. We've changed our business. So this is something that might interest your listeners. So sometimes when you look at an asset class in real estate, there is general guidelines of when you should invest in that asset class based off of specific market indicators. Single family on the flipping side lends really well to getting in at the downturn right after it hits the bottom, and on the rebuild is when you should get into flipping. And right now, as we all know, we're going through this recession. Who knows how long it'll last. But one of the things that we did preemptively is we started to change our model where we now partner with home buyers who are looking at full renovation houses, but they don't have the wherewithal to do the renovation, and they don't even have the contacts. So what we do is we come in and we basically flip the house for them in a sense. So we don't have to have our capital at risk. The holding time no longer matters to us because, normally in flipping, the holding time matters because you want to put it on an opportune time back on the market to sell, and or you don't want the market to take a downturn when you put it back on, so you're always in a rush. But partnering with home buyers, it's like a perfect blend between the two. So we've started to integrate that into our business and work with retail buyers on that side, but we're going to continue doing that. And then there's a few other things that we're doing too, looking into complementary businesses for our business. So I'm a huge believer in identifying efficiencies and then taking those efficiencies and automating them. So if I believe that there is a need within a certain industry, then I will look to see whether or not I can automate it and make it a profitable venture that is complementary to the business that I'm in. So a lot of people use the reference that you want 7 different streams of income. Most millionaires have 7 different streams of income. It's along those principles, but it's taking it one step further by saying you're diverse in the sense that it's not the same type of investment, but it's complementary, meaning that they play on each other, but they are not necessarily needed. The two are needed to be successful on their own right. They must be successful in their own right. It just helps that they support each other. So just as an example, if I wanted to build a system that rivaled Yardi, that would be complementary to multifamily. So it doesn't need my multifamily business to survive because there are other people who could use that property management software system, but it does complement me because there's obviously a high cost burden on my operating expenses on my property when I have to go through a third party vendor as opposed to having the program in-house. I am not doing that. I'm just using that as an example. I don't want Yardi to like come after me or something because I wouldn't even know where to begin with that, but I'm just saying that as an example.
Well, no, I know the best investors that I know are doing exactly what you're saying. They are pivoting. They are changing their business up to service the market. I mean, we can't be our investors in a bubble. It's what the market tells us we need to do. So I am so happy to hear that you pivoted your flip business, because I know so many flippers are just like, yeah, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm done. And some are just like, you know what? I took my business and now I'm doing it this way. I'm following the market and I'm doing that way. So right now it's a time to pivot and figure out what to do. And then everything that you just said about finding that complementary business. I actually just talked to this dynamic couple who actually did open something up in the realm of property management. It's more like a software for sponsors and asset managers that they can like put everything in there. And they had started working on this pre-COVID, and now they're completely just diving deep into the software because they know that this will be complementary to their business, and it's really important to get this out to the market. So thank you for everything that you've just said. If you could give my listeners just one more bit of advice, and this is the only thing that they will ever hear, what would that piece of advice be?
Believe in yourself.
Thank you. I mean, that you don't have to actually say anything else after that, because that by itself is huge. So many people don't get into real estate or don't take the next step because they don't believe in themselves. So take it from Ashley Wilson, this amazing mom, this amazing entrepreneur, this amazing runner of real estate, just amazing person. Take it from her. Believe in yourself. And don't forget, go and look up, and I'll leave a link, look up the Invest Her group and buy tickets to this amazing summit. It's going to be fantastic. I already got my tickets. Liz and Andressa are fantastic friends of mine. I believe in their cause and I believe in what they're doing. And if you are part of this group and you haven't bought your tickets yet, buy the ticket. It's going to be an amazing. I mean, if I just hear all the information that Ashley just gave you, if you listen to this podcast again, you're going to be that much like more in your business. So buy that ticket. Thank you so much, Ashley. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
And thank you to my listeners for listening. I am so very grateful. If you like what you heard, please rate and review and please subscribe. You guys are amazing. And don't forget to believe in yourself. Bye now. Join us for your second cup of coffee every Monday through Friday at noon.
Live every day, bringing us our best content we've done so far. Super excited, super engaging, bunch of great guests. We're here to answer your questions, and we so appreciate you listening. Make sure to check this out.
Can't wait to see you.